Thank you, Patsy. Good morning, Unity Atlanta.
Good morning.
I am so glad to be here with you this morning. The title of my talk is When Now. And I want to share a little story with you. It's actually my own personal testimony. And you'll understand why now is so important to me. About a year ago, September 10th to be exact, I was at Hillside for a program, and I didn't feel well. And so I left and went home, and I experienced excruciating pain as I was driving down the highway, but I was like, I'm closer to my home and my bed than I am to the hospital. It's Saturday afternoon. I'm not going to the emergency room. It's filled with people. I have to sit there and be in pain. I'll be fine just as long as I get home and get in my bed. So I did that. I went home and I worked through some pain. I spoke to one of my friends and she said, well, are you sure? I said, I'll be fine. I'll go to my doctor on Monday. I just had a physical. Everything was fine. Monday morning I got up. I still wasn't feeling well and I went to see my doctor and she said, well, Dolores, we just saw you 2 weeks ago. I can't imagine what's wrong. She said, but I'm going to send you down to have a CT scan. I said, okay. She said, maybe it's kidney stones. So I went, and they came back out, and they said, you need to go right to the emergency room. Your appendix ruptured. So I called my family, I called Dr. Barbara, and I headed to the emergency room. It was just a few blocks away. And they took me in immediately, and I'm laying on a stretcher, and they're giving me pain medication and doing all the things they do. And then, when I thought about it, I said, Dolores, there's not a thing you can do. So I closed my eyes and I said, God, I surrender. Because there comes a point, especially when you know truth and you stand on the principles. I've been teaching this stuff for years. So it was now my opportunity to stand on the very truth I had been talking about and teaching in every class that I ever taught. So in a little while, the nurse comes and she says, they're going to roll you in. And Dr. Faith is going to put a drain in your side. I had my confirmation right then and right there. I just had to go through the process. Because that could be a very scary thing. Most people that experience that, unless they get immediate medical attention, don't survive. Right. And actually, they weren't expecting me to survive. But the moment I closed my eyes and said, God, I surrender, the moment the nurse said to me, Dr. Faith is going to put a tube in you, I was fine. Yeah. Do you understand me? Yeah. There was no fear. Yeah. There was no concern. I got my confirmation. So I stayed in the hospital for 8 days. They drew blood from me I don't know what the time lapse is before they can draw blood from you again. But every time I turned around, they were coming for more blood. But the thing was, they were coming for the blood because they were trying to identify the bacteria that was in my body to see if they had an antibiotic to counter it. But every time they came and they thought they had it, it was changing. And it was perplexing for them. But they kept coming back because they told me they thought it was one thing and that next time it changed. It was something else. They came back again. And so I stayed there 8 days waiting for them to kind of narrow it down and pin it down so that they could decide what kind of antibiotics they were going to give me. And every day I laid there, I just wake up and say thank you. Because for me, every morning that I woke up, I thought my chances were better of surviving this situation. Because I know when my doctor talked to me, it was almost like he was angry with me. Why didn't you come on Saturday? You know, like I said, I rationalized it away. But each day that I woke up, I knew that there was a presence, there was a power that was operating in and through me, and in and through everybody and anybody that had anything to do with me.
Amen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went through that process. I went home. I had to have a line in my arm. I was on antibiotics for a month. Had home nurses come and show me how to administer it, 24 hours a day. It was December before my appendix were actually removed, because they had to clear up all the infection within my body, within my system, before they could do surgery. Because had they done it prior to then, I really wouldn't be here.
Right.
So I went through that experience, and that taught me how precious life is, that none of us are an exception to what goes on in the world. But the only thing I realized was this truth that we talk about, these principles that we talk about when you come into Unity Atlanta or any New Thought church, how real they are. And we've got to learn not just to regurgitate and, spout off all these wonderful things that we say in New Thought, but we've got to realize that it's real.
Yeah.
It's real. And I hope you don't have to have my experience to get there. But when we think about when we think about life, it's usually, instead of when now, it's when then. When this happens, then I will. When the kids graduate, then I will. When my spouse does this, then I'll do that. When I lose weight, then. We've been living the majority of our lives in a when-then state. So what's your when-then? What have you been postponing? What have you been saying, when this happens, then I'll do that? If you've got a when-then, that's okay. Don't be upset with yourself. Because truly, we've all been conditioned to wait. Think about it. And so we ask the question, how long do we have to wait for a good to happen? How long do we have to wait for prosperity? How long do we have to wait for healing? How long do we have to wait? Now, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm tired of waiting, aren't you?
Yeah.
Tired of waiting. When we were children, we waited for birthdays so we could have a party. And they never seem to come fast enough. Then once you get past 40, they come real fast. We waited for Santa Claus. Then girls waited till they were old enough to wear makeup. And we waited till we were old enough to get our driver's license. Wait, wait, wait. And now, true enough, that waiting was necessary because we wouldn't want to put a 5-year-old behind the wheel of a car. But nevertheless, what was happening subconsciously, we were training ourselves to wait for our good.
Yeah. Yeah.
We didn't realize that it was an unconscious act, but we were waiting for our good. And so now we have to realize, as Jesus said, the kingdom of God is at hand. The kingdom of your good is at hand right here, right now.
That's it.
And God's good comes as fast as you can accept
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It comes as fast as you can accept it. We've got to learn to accept the allness of source and the availability of source right now. Now, in your bulletin, you got a little bookmark. Pull it out. On one side it says, now is the acceptable time, and behold, now is the day, for the time is at hand. Now flip it over. And I want you to read with me. I was regretting the past and fearing the future. Suddenly my Lord said, my name is I Am. He paused. I waited. He continued. When you live in the past with its mistakes and regrets, it is hard. I am not there. My name is not I was. When you live in the future with its problems and fears, it is hard. I'm not there. My name is not I will be. When you live in this moment, it's not hard. I am here. My name is I Am. I am that I am is within you right now.
Yeah.
You know that when we do our affirmations, we use the I am. We use the first person present tense. I am is a command to the universe to immediately get busy processing and manifesting our desires and bringing it into the physical reality. The universe can only use now. The present moment can only be used to send you clues, people, events, and opportunities to advance. It can't use your imaginary future. We think about our future, we dread the past, we hold on to the past, but now is the only time Spirit can connect with you. Now is the only time Spirit can give you instructions and guidance. Now is the only time we have. Now is the present, and the present is a pre-sent moment. Do you realize that this moment you sent to yourself? You sent this moment to yourself right now. You created this moment for you. And anything else you want to create, you do it in the moment. If we have an unpleasant situation, instead of cursing or condemning or judging the present moment, what we need to do is examine it and say, if I created this moment and I don't like what's going on in this moment, what choice would I have to make to create something better? What would I have to do to have a better situation? What words do I need to speak? What thoughts do I need to hold? What do I need to visualize for myself? And everything that we embrace and bring into the light non-judgmentally, honestly, for clear examination, reveals a lesson. And then it moves us to the next level that we see. Think about it. The first time you do something, it's always a journey of discovery. We take in the details and we learn many new things. But think about something that you've done for the 100th time. You do it unconsciously. You're on automatic pilot. You don't give it any thought. You're actually operating on a memory.
Yep.
We're on automatic. I have to tell the truth on myself. I have driven down 285 and been preoccupied and thinking about something, and then look up and say, oh my God, where am I? Did I go east or did I go west? I'm looking for a road sign. How many of us are like that? We've got so much going on in our minds that we don't pay attention.
Right.
We don't pay attention. We just go on automatic pilot. We're so used to doing the same thing, the same way. You drive to work or wherever it is you go on a regular basis. Do you take the same path every day, every time? Usually we do. The only time we'll try to go another way is if there's some kind of roadblock or traffic or something, but we usually drive that same path. Do you notice anything different? No, because you're not paying attention. Been down this road 100 times. But I want to suggest to you, whenever you go someplace, be mindful. Notice something new and something different. Notice that, oh, there's a sign there. Oh, there's a barrier there. There's a cone there. Notice something new and different. Why am I saying do that? Because when we do this, there again, we're training our subconscious mind to experience something new and different. We're looking for the new and different. When you look at your spouse, yeah, the one you've been married to for the last 25 years. When you get up, look for something new and different. Instead of judging him or her by the memories you have of the past and what they normally do and how they, just look at them simply like you're looking at them for the first time. Do the same thing with your children. Look at them like you're looking at them for the first time. Not with all the prejudgment, not with all the memories, not with what they didn't do yesterday that you told them to do. But just look at them anew and fresh and give them the opportunity to be new and different. How do you feel when you meet an old classmate and they start talking and telling everybody what you did back in the day when you were in school? And you want to look at them and say, if you don't shut up, that is not who you are. That's who you were 20 or 30 years ago. That's not the person you are today. You weren't in truth then. You didn't, you know. But you want them to be quiet. That's not who I am. So when we hold these memories of people, and especially our loved ones, that's what we're doing. We're not letting them out of that cubbyhole. We're keeping them in that space of 20 or 30 years ago, or we're keeping them in that space of what they did back then.
Yes.
So let's look at them with a new eye. Let's look at them a little differently. Memory has its place, but everything changes, and using memory keeps us from seeing that change. Using memory keeps us from seeing that change. And decide to experience everything as a new experience. When you come here next Sunday, come in the door like it's a new experience. You'll feel differently. As opposed to coming in here, oh, okay, I'm at Unity Atlanta, you know, another Sunday. Who's speaking this Sunday? Look for the new and the different. Decide not to anticipate what the appearance is going to be or what the behavior is going to be based on the memory. And thank God for the present moment, because the present moment is all you have. Buddha says, do not dwell in the past and do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. Eckhart Tolle says, the power for creating a better future is contained in the present moment. You create a good future by creating a good present moment. And Louise Hay said, the point of power is always in the present moment. It's here now in the present moment we find the power, the ability to change and elevate our lives. Stop waiting, stop remembering, rather observe, experience, and create. Become a conscious observer. Be more mindful of what's around you. We're so trapped in our thoughts of the future or the past that we forget to experience, let alone enjoy what's happening right now. Savor the moment. You know, when you have a good meal and you really savor it and just enjoy every spoonful, every forkful, savor every moment. And when we do this, we're creating a brand new experience. We're moving higher and higher in consciousness. And we're creating it with our words, with our feelings, with our thoughts. All of that is taking place in creating a world. Realize no matter what time it is, it's now. We're living in the eternal now. Focusing on the present moment reboots your mind so you can respond thoughtfully rather than react automatically. You know, there's a difference between a response and a reaction. So we want to be mindful. And sometimes when we take time to just take a deep breath, if you ever want to get into the present moment, wherever you are, just breathe. Just realize that breath. Yeah, sure, we're breathing, every second, but it's unconscious. But when you take that conscious breath, it brings you back into the moment.
Yes.
And if someone says something, does something that upsets you, rather than immediately speak, take that breath.
Yes.
Because what's coming out of your mouth in the next few minutes is going to be what's creating in your experience.
Yep.
So think about that. How would I choose to respond as opposed to how will I react? When you master yourself, you make room for miracles. When we just sang this song, I'm ready for a miracle.
Amen.
You have to master yourself to make room for a miracle. Repeat after me. When I master myself, I make room for miracles in my life.
I make room for miracles in my life.
Let's say it again. When I master myself, I make room for miracles in my life.
I make room for miracles in my life.
One more time. When I master myself, I make room for miracles in my life.
I make room for miracles in my life. Amen.
Eckhart Tolle said, all negativity is caused by an accumulation of psychological time and denial of the present. Unease, tension, stress, worry, all forms of fear are caused by too much future and not enough present.
Amen.
Guilt, regret, resentment, grievances, sadness, bitterness, and all forms of unforgiveness are caused by too much past and not enough present.
Amen.
The quality of our consciousness at this moment is what shapes the future. Your outer journey may contain 1,000,000 steps, but your inner journey only has one. The step you're taking right now.
Yeah.
No matter how persistent the illusion of time may be, with past, present, future, it's still an illusion. Yesterday is a canceled check. Tomorrow is a promissory note. Today is the only cash you have. Spend it wisely.
Amen.
Now. Live in the now, people. Time is precious. Life is precious. We don't have time to spend going back talking about what happened when. Enjoy the moment. Yes, we want a bright future, but the bright future depends on what you're doing and saying and thinking right now.
Yes. Amen.
The only time you have is now.
Yeah.
Beloved, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers, because now is the only time you have. And so it is.
Thank you.